I guess it's on. Uh,
Okay, so now we're recording.
so now we're recording.
All right.
Take it away, Caesar. Man of the golden voice, take it away.
Okay, so this is my radio show test, interview. Okay, so hello everybody. We're not gonna spend too much time with the intro, but my name is Caesar, and
my
this is
name
my
is
friend
Carl.
Carl.
Yeah. How do you do it?
We are.
Explain it to the people. Explain to people what's going to happen here in the next 20 minutes, 10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes, however long it is. This is our first time trying it. We are basically going to just talk about random art pieces from the history of humankind. And we're just gonna talk about disclaimer though, none of us are art history majors.
Nope.
We don't know shit about art.
We know nothing
about technique
at all.
Sometimes we don't even know about who even painted it or anything. We're gonna try our best to do our research, but we can't guarantee we're gonna.
And
so in
probably,
truly millennial fashion, we're just gonna dive right in, try to get something out of this, and just talk basically.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We were going full ignorant. All right. Let's start with
basically.
I chose the first painting, and I guess the painting is by an American artist named Edward Hopper. We'll ignore the actual art historian's actual interpretation, and we're just gonna go straight into our own. So, Caesar.
Let's do it.
Caesar, when you look at this painting named Night Windows from 1928, what does it evoke in you? What does it make you think about? What does it make you see?
Well, the first thing that I noticed out of this painting is that really old radiator in the back. I don't know, like I haven't seen one of those in a while. Like you see them in really old buildings in downtown sometimes, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen one of those in a while, actually. So this is probably old, right? It's 1928, you said?
Yeah.
Was it 1928?
1928.
Yeah.
And what I took away from it, especially the date, is that it kind of looks like this could still be a place in downtown, right? Like copy and paste, right? Lights, everything, the person inside tending to their stuff, the decor, the colors. It could just be yesterday night. Like
it could have, honestly,
and it's almost a century ago. This is almost a century ago when you think about it. That is
crazy. That is crazy.
Yeah, and it makes me think, how much progress have we really made? like maybe the lady maybe the lady's got an iPhone, but that's the radiator's still shit, like. I mean, that's my interpretation.
They're still giving you problems. It's still, loud at night, etc. But okay, here's the other part. Here's something really interesting I'm starting to notice. Is that the artist chose to focus the radiator in that first window and the middle window. But then on the window on the left, on our left, is showing an open window, right? That is clearly letting the air in.
Yeah.
So there's like some sort of contrast there. I don't know, but probably we'll get there once we start thinking deeper on this. But what do you think? What do you think that contrast is there?
I guess, yeah, like this is noticeably an open window compared to this one. And there's something brighter about this side. There's something brighter about that left side where it feels like, like this little window scene just there. I feel like I've seen that in movies like Inception, or I've seen this in movies like, I don't know, Batman maybe even, or just random kind of like scenes from like How I Met Your Mother even. Like, this open window, the breeze drifting in.
Yeah.
And a little private scene where it's a little naughty, it's clearly a lady, right, in a towel or some sort, but it's so, even though it's like it's completely it's nothing, it's a nothing kind of thing, it's just this is like a fraction of a second of you moving your head across the city.
Exactly. It's like a quick glimpse into the private life of that person that we're looking at in Okay. Give me 1 second. I gotta close the door. Just give me 1 sec.
Oh, do we edit this part out? Do we edit this
we'll
part
edit
out?
that part
We'll
out.
edit the part out, right?
Yeah, we'll edit it out.
Okay. But yeah, I think.
So,
wait, what does this picture evoke in you? You know, that's the art thing. It's like, what does it make you feel when you look at it? Give it like a moment. Stare at it and think, what does it make you feel?
Well, looking on what really it's attracting my attention is that open window. For some reason, like this looks like a second floor type of to me. Like it's pretty easy to climb in there if you think about it. Right? So
I didn't notice what floor that was. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That to me seems like a second floor. I don't know why.
No, because it's like signs. Like if you look at the bottom, there's kind of like signs.
Right. Yeah, it looks kind of like signs. Like it's like just a floor above it. And so. It's late at night, right? Somebody is minding their own business inside of their house. They're just, it's clearly a woman. It's someone that's just come out of the showers and in their literal underwear. And somebody or us, we, the spectator, we're looking into their private life, kind of like creeping in.
But their private life is open. The window is open.
Exactly. Their windows are completely open, right?
It's inviting almost. And what really drew me actually was this weird red stuff that's going on. Right? Like, what is that? Is that a fire? I don't like what is.
It looks like it. It looks
like it could
be,
right? Or it's something, but. This is something that perplexes me because I know what this scene is in the middle. I know what this is on the left side. I have no idea. Like, there's a lampshade maybe, but then why is there like red stuff kind of spilling out over it? Is that a curtain? Is that a decor? Is that like, what is that? And I like, and that weird, and the colors on that side are warm, Like whereas on this side it's a bit cooler. It's a little bit that light blue. It's really even though it's cooler, it's more inviting. It feels fresh. But like on on the other side, it's like mysterious. And that's what really drew me onto this side. I'm just like, what's going on? Like the light spilling out to different color. Everything's just a little bit different, and it makes you wonder. I think it makes you wonder, like. Even though you get a glimpse of someone's private life, there's still so much mystery and depth, just even from that little tiny corner that you can barely see. It's always that little bit that you can't really quite see that draws you in,
It doesn't matter if you've seen them in, their underwear. There's still so much to discover.
Yeah. There's literally...
That's really deep. Yeah, that's really interesting.
Hashtag
what do you think is going on in that window, though?
I think it's I think it's a fire. Like it kind of looks like.
It looks like a fire, right? It looks like a fire.
And
maybe that's the reason why the window's open, right? So you let some of the smoke out.
Yeah, but it looks.
But there's
serene.
No smoke.
But it looks serene almost.
Right.
And if it is a fire, it's just the start of the fire.
Okay. Do notice something. Do notice that on the top third of the windows. The blind is sort of half shut down, right? And on the left window, you cannot see through it, but on the right window where that red stuff is, you can actually see through it.
Yeah.
You notice?
Yeah.
Or do you think that's part of the lighting?
I couldn't. Maybe that's a little too much detail because like it kind of looks streaky to me on both sides. But you know what?
Right.
To that point, notice that the middle one doesn't have a blind. Right.
That one's open.
That one is like maybe the middle one looks like it's purposefully exposed.
Yeah.
Like it's completely open and it's completely purposefully exposed. The blind is being rolled up all the way, whereas the other ones there's still a little bit of something, right? The blind is being rolled down a bit, and There's a bit of mystery
Well,
there.
and in the purpose of building some sort of narrative of it,
Okay.
you could even say that this is the sort of Romeo and Juliet type of romantic story between two lovers from across the street type of thing.
I don't think so.
What
man.
you're looking at is.
Okay.
But here, let me finish.
Okay,
let me finish my point.
Keep going.
So basically, they were sort of, I don't know, watching each other, sending each other messages, whatever, through like paper airplanes or something.
Yeah.
And then that's why she had the window open, could be, right? And all of a sudden something went wrong in her apartment, and then a fire started. And so she basically had to go and try to like put it down, put the fire out. I mean, so maybe that's why she's like, leaning over, trying to like, I don't know, beat the fire out with like some sort of cover, right? Trying to get the fire out, but I mean, it's clearly getting out of hand.
I mean, certainly, because I don't. It does look like fire.
And then
the more and more time I spend looking at it, the more it looks like fire to me. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it could very well be that. It could be like, this could be the beginning of a very, very bad tragedy. You know,
if you want to take it down that route, it could also be a heroic rescue.
Or it could be a heroic rescue, but it looks like the beginning of action.
Oh, okay. That's true. Yeah, it looks like rising action type.
It looks like a rising action. That's
like Spider-Man. You know that scene in Spider-Man.
This kind of like Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man 2. I get the Spider-Man 2
when he rushes. Yeah, when he rushes into the fire, into the building that's on fire, and then he doesn't have any powers, but then he has to save all of these citizens and stuff. Yeah. That looks like it. Maybe this is the building that Spider-Man saved. I don't know.
All right. Okay. I think we reached the Spider-Man endpoint of this picture. Let's move on to another one.
We've reached the Spider-Man point.
We reached the Spider-Man point. We've gone from 1928 deep introspection to Spider-Man.
Yeah, maybe it's not the Spider-Man.
Maybe it's not the Spider-Man. Let's move on. Okay, you had a picture.
Yes, I did. I did have one, actually.
It's your turn. Your turn to share it.
Let me share the screen. All right, so can you see it?
I can stop sharing mine, and then it should be yours. There we go. We got it.
Okay. Yeah. So,
dogs playing poker.
I did some. Yeah. So it's dogs playing poker, but the real name is, I think, and I'm don't quote me on this one, but I think it's A Friend in Need. I think that's the name of the picture. A little bit of background. This is part of a set of paintings of dogs playing poker or some sort of table games that basically were made throughout like the beginning of the 20th century. And they were basically considered like the lowest form of like art that you could put in your house. So it was basically just like a decoration piece for like a regular living room and like
the lowest common denominator of art, whereas in society usually we think of those fancy $1 million super paintings. This is the opposite of that.
Exactly.
This is
exactly. This is so like the painting of the common man, you could say, right?
The painting of the common man.
Painting of the common person. Yeah. So like it's just something you put in your living room just to add some spice to it, add some color to it.
Spark some conversation.
Back then, obviously. Then they grew out of taste according to Wikipedia. That's what it says that happened. So I don't remember the name of the guy who painted it, but I mean it's a really interesting scene. What do you think? What do you see? How does it make you feel?
Ooh, I think the first thing I noticed is kind of, it's just there's tension. You can see the tension, of the dogs kind of like each one of them has like a specific kind of, like if you ever play poker or you ever gambled or you ever been to like a casino, like you recognize that tension where everyone on the table is kind of like everyone's focused so deeply on themselves, but at the same time trying to mask that they're focused on everybody else. You know, like the guy right in the middle, he's got like one eye off to the left, or his left, I guess, or the right, and but he's got these cards really close to his chest, and he's kind of like trying to, you know, and then there's a guy all the way on the far right of the painting who doesn't care at all. He doesn't, he doesn't. He's just kind of chilling, looking at his cards. Right.
You can tell he doesn't have that much money too. He has like 3 chips left.
Yeah, he's got 3 chips. He doesn't give a shit. He's already out of it, right? And then you see in the foreground the dirty cheaters. Right. Yeah. The dirty cheaters with all the money.
And it's the 2 smallest dogs too, by the way. If you notice it. It's the 2 smallest dogs. Yeah.
Small and genetically inferior, technically. Because the pug has been.
I mean, I think these are bulldogs.
Bulldog. Well, we don't know
at least the gray one is a bulldog.
We don't know what this one is, though. But I'm guessing.
But we don't know what the brown one is. We don't know what the brown one is.
It's got a little stubby tail. It's one of those little stubby bulldog kind of tails, right?
Yeah. It sort of looks like one. If you see I think it's a collie. I think that's what they're called. The one on
this one,
the left.
Yeah, the left.
He's like, on the left one, he's kind of crossing his leg. He's kind of laughing, like leaning back, swing type of thing. Like either he's about to lose or he's about to win. Like
I think
he's about to win.
I think he's just there for the game.
Pot is big.
No, I think he's just there for the game.
Yes.
You know, I think that the collie is supposed to be the smartest dog, right? Or one of the smartest breeds. Right. I watched a really terrifying TikTok video the other day of a border collie trained to speak to its master by pressing the little, like, you know, those keyboard things that those people play on, and you can, like, it plays musical notes, but instead of musical notes, it says words like hi, or I need to, like you know, one of those sign language apes. And the collie was like, can I go out to play? And I was like, oh, this is it. Oh, this is scary. This is a little bit scary. And had a conversation.
Maybe the way it works is that, I mean, dogs are trained through their ear, kind of, right? Like I know German shepherds, you train them with certain German words, so they perform some sort of action.
No, but the thing is,
they stop biting, or they
the
go
dog
and bite.
Was constructing its own sentence in response to the sentence of the owner. It's a totally different thing.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if it's fake.
Might be speaking to like a need to respond. Might be speaking to a need to.
Maybe a need to respond. And this border collie isn't respond. It's just chilling. You know, it's just in the game. You know, is the most relaxed looking.
Very interesting.
Clearly the most relaxed looking. Like, he doesn't care. Right.
It's also quite late in the night if you look at the clock on the far right.
I didn't think about the clock. Yeah. What's that?
It's like
1:10. It's 1:10 a.m.
Yeah, like 10 past 1. Yeah, 10 past 1. I like to think is a.m. since these games usually go on at night.
Oh yeah.
So there's been a few games going on. You know, you could assume there's been a few games going on.
Yeah, and
they're smoking pipes. And I think that's quite interesting.
I think that's just to humanize them, but I'm not entirely sure. They're all drinking too. You know, they're drinking, they've got pipes, but I think that's just to speak to that male ego that we all, you know, especially as a dude, you know, smoking, you know, with a pipe and drinking, you know, that's kind of like, that's like the madman, kind of like what we think that prototypical image of.
I wouldn't. Exactly. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just another technique from the tobacco industry to, you know.
Oh, more advertising. More advertising.
Down the throat.
Yeah.
Advertising. It was said in the Wikipedia page that this was kind of like, I think it was painted by someone who worked in advertising. I think. I don't remember. I read it a while ago. I'm not sure. But it could be a way, you know, for the tobacco industry to impregnate the society even more. I mean, at some point, it just became part of it. They didn't even have to pay any money. It just became part of society. It was a meme almost. You know, smoking.
I guess it kind of speaks to smoking and vices in general, like the kind of memes almost. It's like you see that's what adults do, or you see that's what people in culture here do. Like this is what that group does. You know, like if you want to be part of that group, you got to do this. If you're gonna go play a poker game at 1 a.m., you gotta smoke, you gotta drink. You know, it changes your framing so that you have to kind of, yeah. I never thought about it that way, but yeah.
Well, do you think the bulldog that's handing the card, the ace, to the other dog wants to split the pot if that dog ends up winning it? Do you think he's asking for
I have something. I have something far deeper on that one. I think it's
okay.
the richest people are the ones cheating with and for each other. That's why they, you know, it's an economic theory of collusion and oligopolistic kind of like dominance. You know, like the oligarchs of Russia, like the way, like you must have competition. You can't have monopoly, right? So instead, you just have a bunch of really rich cheaters who just cheat back and forth with one another, and then they keep each other, you know, safe. You know what I mean? So one person takes the heat, and the one person.
You can see that.
Yeah, you can see that both of them are.
They've been cleaning out the table.
Yeah, they're cleaning out the fucking table.
Yeah, the biggest winners. Yeah, they're cleaning it out, man. Yeah. And you know what? Speak to your point earlier as to that. You know, evolutionarily speaking, they are the inferior breed of dogs since they're smaller, so they can't defend themselves as efficiently against the bigger dogs. But somehow they're colliding now, and you know, theoretically becoming larger than their 5 competitors who are bigger, stronger than them. But they are cleaning out the table.
Yeah.
So, you know, this was kind of a message to, you know, the you know, the common worker, the common family, maybe. Working class.
Yeah, I don't think about it that way. Shit.
Could be.
Subliminal messaging keep the castes in check.
But then that implies a very important point. Do you have to cheat
to win,
to be able to get to the, you know, to win against the 5? It's cheat.
Oh, you're cutting out.
That's the question.
Your internet's cutting out, Caesar. Can you hear me?
FBI.
The FBI, you're coming, bro. Repeat it one more time.
I'm talking too much.
No, repeat it one more time. No, if it cut out, that means you gotta repeat it one more time. Go slowly.
Yeah, no. Where did it cut out? When was the last thing I said?
Where you started talking about how like it relates back to society, how like, you know, it could be a message to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the message that I'm saying is that maybe the question that this painting is that is cheating okay then if you are the smallest player? Is cheating with another smaller player okay just to take on the larger 5 players type of thing, or just to take on the larger players in general? Like it's cheating basically.
Yeah, and you can see how unfair, and you can kind of see how unfair it is. Right, like
because maybe this implies that this is not the first time they did it during the game, right?
Oh yeah, right.
And the reason why they've won so much is because they've just been constantly doing it.
And the suspicion doesn't seem to be placed on them. Like if you look at the most suspicious the character most suspicious, he's in the middle, right? I guess the beagle, right? It looks like a beagle, and he's looking at he's looking over to his left, the kind of aggressive, kind of sad-looking German Shepherd or like attack dog, right? It's suspiciously, but it's not. It's not him, you know. We can't see how much the attack dogs won, right? We can't see his earnings. That's, you know, he's the only one whose earnings we can't see. You know, he's the one whose earnings we can't see at all.
That's really interesting. Yeah.
Right? Or maybe he has one chip I can't see. Maybe it's like one tiny chip there.
Actually, no, you're entirely right. I had not noticed that because everyone else, the chairs and the little slots in between are positioned so you can see their chips, except for that dog, except for that one.
Yeah, and he looks really sad, he's smoking the pipe, and he's looking real bummed out, right? And
yeah, he's trying to act it out, being like, oh yeah, I'm just the lucky one, maybe.
Well, I don't know, right? Like
maybe he's been playing fairly. Maybe he is the one who's been playing fairly, and then he is the one who's being suspected.
He's getting suspected of. Yeah, and instead it's the two ugly cheaters in front, right?
The two bulldogs, yeah.
The two bulldogs. Who knows?
Oh boy.
All right.
What, I'd be interested in looking at the nationalities of these dogs as well, because
you think it goes deeper than that? Yeah, it could be.
I think it could
be racial. Mm.
More than racial, just nationalism type of thing, because dogs sometimes are like very tied to the country, like at least the English bulldog. Yeah, they're symbols of the national identity. So maybe there's something of that.
Well, I mean, it could be an English bulldog, right? And then we know the history. Your background is explain your back. If you explain your background of being from South America and from me being Asian, and both of us kind of having to deal with colonialism, right? Perhaps this is more colonialism. It's more colonialism, Caesar. It's all over the place.
It might be. You never know.
You never know.
It might be.
Shall we move on to the yet another painting?
Let's do it. How long have we gone for so far?
I have no idea. I think like 20 minutes. We do one last one.
Okay. One last one.
Last one before it cuts us out, I'm sure.
Okay. Let's do it. Let me stop sharing. This time
I can share mine.
Show your arm. I didn't notice this was the MoMA's page.
Yeah, it was. Cool. Yeah, they've got a nice little little online gallery. But I was thinking, let's look at. Cool. I want to look at more Edward Hopper, but I guess we should move on to something.
Okay, let's try something different.
Let's do something different. Let's look at some old school Roman Catholic.
Oh boy.
Some of this.
All right, let's do it.
All right, this is the Crucifixion.
Do we have any context as to who painted this? What year?
Andre something. Here we go. 1450. There we go.
1450. Okay.
1450, right? And
so that's like, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's like end of the Middle Ages type of thing.
Yeah, this is the beginning of this is into the Renaissance. I think the Renaissance starts after this.
Right.
I could be completely wrong.
Transitioning period.
The transitioning period is the Jesus.
Be completely wrong as well. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So what are we looking at here? Okay, so it's definitely the Crucifixion. What called? Is it called the Crucifixion?
Yeah, it's just called the Crucifixion. Well, Crucifixion. Yeah, the Crucifixion. It's called the Crucifixion.
Well, first thing I'm interested in by looking at this picture is that it's not only Jesus, the one who's being portrayed in this, as opposed to many other paintings of the Crucifixion, but also the two thieves that would crucify it.
Yeah. Normally it's just the big J, but now it's
Big J. Usually it's Big J.
Yeah, but now it's and they're on tinier crosses.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of there's a lot of shit going on.
Now, a lot of it does speak to the story of the Crucifixion, though. Are you familiar with it by any chance?
Refresh my Bible school. Give me a little bit of Bible school, Caesar.
Sure. So as a good, Catholic boy growing up in that stuff, I remember these stories. But basically, there's two thieves that were crucified with Jesus, right? And while he was in the cross, one of them repented. I think his name was Demas, and then the other one didn't repent or didn't acknowledge Jesus as like the Son of God. Maybe I'm paraphrasing this, by the way. I'm not by any chance well versed in the Bible.
Look, we've already established that neither of us really know what we're doing.
We are lay people. Okay, we're lay.
We're lay people.
We're very lay people, okay? So on the right, you probably have Hestas is the name in Spanish. I don't know what it is in English, but he was the one who didn't repent, and he's the one who basically died
demon.
and went to
You can
hell.
kind of see the demon on the right side. Like the right side of the
You can
painting is
see-
very much more demon looking. Yeah.
Basically hell going on there, and then on the left side, you could even argue that that castle that's popping out of nowhere might be heaven of God, like the kingdom of heaven, basically. And Hesta is going into heaven because Jesus promised Hesta that or was it Demas? Demas, my bad. Demas, that he would meet him in the kingdom of God after they were dead, after they went through their torture, basically.
Ah.
That's what the split. That's the whole split.
Okay. Okay. So.
Yeah, and if I know something, sorry, just one last point. If I know something about these, middle ages religious paintings and Renaissance paintings, that they were very meticulous with detail as well. And as you can see, Jesus is pointing his head to the side of the saved
light, of the saved rather than the. Well, and it also speaks to the fact that there's a lot of like deep symbolism and imagery and like hidden pictures and then like things like even if you ever have done a deep dive on the Mona Lisa or any of those kind of like or like those frescoes, like people find like all these mathematical triangles and things being formed and then like all sorts of geometric patterns. It goes really deep. And like to that end, like when you look at this painting again, let's standardize this one. When you look at the painting, what does it make you feel? What is that first thing? Because that's, as somebody who was a bit of an artsy-fartsy kid, I'll admit that I was one of those kids who liked going to art galleries and liked learning about like the process of art, not necessarily fine art, but just like I paint myself as a bit of an artist. I draw, I paint, I make stuff, right? So for me, it all comes down to feeling. It comes down to that. What does it evoke in you? Because ultimately, that's what art's supposed to do. You're supposed to look at it. It's supposed to make you feel some way, and then you carry that feeling with you, right? And then you interpret it after. So when you look at this painting, how does it make you feel? Because for me,
just start, yeah.
It makes me feel like you're between two worlds.
Okay.
It really makes it kind of. It feels like riding a fence, right? Like Jesus right down the middle is that fence that splits this image right in two, right? Yeah. And they're like, and it gives you kind of a bit of a. It kind of makes you start questioning what side of the fence you're on, right? Because it starts making you wonder, like, what side of the fence am I really on, or is there a fence, or is there? Because if you look on the right side, there's a lot more people on the right side than there are on the left side, right? But they kind of converge in the middle, if you notice, right? Like they're all behind the mound that this is happening on, and. Like they go from one side and then they come in from the other side, and it makes you kind of even though there's a clear separating line, you don't know where that blurring is. Like on the right side, you don't see many women, and you don't see any pink.
You see a lot of weapons too.
You see a lot of weapons.
Spears.
A lot of weapons. A lot of pointy things. You see, you see the demon, or you see like the devil himself with on the throat. Like on one side, it's like just a castle, like it's pretty dang like okay, whatever. But like the first thing that drew to me is like, why is that like it looks Asian, but like it looks almost Asian, the style of the demon, like a Japanese oni or something on this weird geometric throne.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
Yeah,
and you're kind of like that's so out of fucking place. It's so out of place. It doesn't make it like why does that exist there, right? Why didn't they just show like I I don't know, like an enemy village or something, right? It's just, but it's this supernatural, weird, freaky, something. When the other side of the picture is just like dudes on a horse, and like a nice pointy castle, kind of like whatever, right? So it makes you wonder. It really does. Yeah. And that's the kind of feelings it evokes in me. It's this duality, kind of making me go like questioning like which side am I on, or are we supposed to embody Jesus and just like his body is leaning to the right, but his head is leaning to the left. You see? Right? Speaking to what you said, how you notice his head is leaning to the left, but notice his body is leaning to the right. Right? It could speak to a lot of that. Human beings are these sinners, right? Our physical form.
The duality. The duality.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm. No, these are really good points you bring up there.
Yeah.
Especially the demon one. I think it's a really interesting that it doesn't.
Let's zoom in on the demon.
Let's zoom in on that demon. Yeah, I'm interested in looking at how Middle Ages painters imagined dark, scary things.
Can you see the demon?
See what was horror like? Yeah, a little better. Can you zoom in a little more?
Yeah, sure. Why not, man? This is Google. You can do whatever you want.
Let's try to zoom that in because I'm starting to see some sort of boiling pot underneath it.
Oh,
some sort of like pan.
Like a stew.
Yeah,
that's probably hell.
Like a stew of damned souls or something.
Oh, detail now that you notice the dude on the other side. He's got his legs broken.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Whereas I'm guessing Jesus doesn't have his legs broken. The other dude doesn't. Well, the other dude has. He looks cut, but it's not broken. Yeah. But this dude, his legs are broken.
He's also the way he is positioned on the cross. He's kind of falling, whereas the other thief, Demas, is kind of like still sustained propped up on the cross. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's definitely pain in both of them, but you could say Demas has the most comfortable position, compared
of the three. Yeah.
Yeah, you could say so.
Oh. Okay, let's look at the
relatively, obviously. Yeah.
Let's look again.
Let's look at the demon. Yeah.
All right. Can you see it?
What's going on there?
I don't know. Well, you can see the tortured souls of hell. This has to be hell. I mean, it's like obviously. I think that's a pretty simple one. And the demon's like putting bodies in his mouth.
Yeah.
But I don't get this odd geometric kind of like, is that science? Is it supposed to represent science in the Middle Ages? This geometry, this like.
I don't know.
Maybe, right? And he's like stirring the pot. He's got a little sticky stick thing. He's stirring the pot, and then down here there's like naked people, slaves, naked. I don't. What is?
Well.
What do you see here?
Well, I want to say that's Saint Peter, the first pope. Right. I want to say that's him, just because that cross looks like the pope cross.
Yeah.
I don't know though. And he's wearing like that white cape and everything.
Yeah, he looks like the most
saving some sort of souls.
Yeah, and he's on. But the thing is, he's on the wrong side or the right. Like he's right underneath the devil.
Here's the thing, though. Let's zoom back out, and also I want to point out that it was a really good observation that strange structure, that cubicle structure, that's really strange because it is kind of unique in the entire picture. Like there's none of that in any of the other.
It's just out of place. Yeah, it's very modern. Yeah. Like I've seen this in some like some science exhibit somewhere for sure. Like holding up something. It's like a red geometric structure of some sort. Like that's not an unfamiliar looking, like a playground might have one of these things, like a jungle gym kind of thing. Like
it looks like a jungle gym. Yeah.
I don't.
Or you could argue that's the frame of a building, right? You could argue that's the frame of a.
Yes, the red. Like the red I-beams of all those old like Manhattan skyscrapers. That kind of looks like that too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Okay. Jeez. And this.
Well, okay. To the point of the guide in white, who I think is Saint Peter. The way I look at this picture, I can see how people might interpret it as like the different stages of the crucifixion story. So, because on the left, you can see that there's the scene of Jesus carrying the cross, handing back the wipe to Mary Magdalene that he wiped his face with. Then he goes and gets crucified, and then there's like some other stuff happening on the right, like for example, Peter becoming the first pope and saving souls by spreading Christianity, etc., etc. Right? So you could say, okay, it's a timeline. But the way I see it is not necessarily as a timeline, but kind of like a Western depiction, a lot more crowded, obviously, of the yin yang, of the concept of the yin yang.
I see that.
So here's you probably catched it already. You probably catched it already. For viewers who haven't, there's definitely the split, right?
Yeah.
Light and dark. You know,
light and dark.
Good
right
and
down
evil.
The middle. Right down the
duality
middle.
of human being. Duality of human beings, whatever you want to call it, with a little bit of a spill of each side into the other. So you see the clouds. The dark clouds are spilling.
Yeah, they're kind of spilling out into this side.
Yeah. And then on the other side, you have the figure in white, who is clearly out of place in that side.
And you know, now that you mentioned he's like the Pope, if you like, I was looking at this, like if you zoom in and you kind of look at what he's doing, like he's leading them out of hell. Like this is hell. This is where the demons and he's leading them out of it. You know, right? Like over this little bridge and out of this jail. Like he's like he's doing that saving. You know that Christianity is so off to do. And it's kind of also that even the image, you know, you can kind of see how it follows a little bit of that yin yang kind of curve. You know, I love that. I love that interpretation that it is the yin yang, right? It's
interesting.
Yeah.
And you know, here's the interesting part though. Here's the most interesting, and this is taking it real deep.
Oh yeah.
So what spillover is the only one that is being represented by human control or human beings? Is the good or the light within the dark? But the dark within that is not. The dark within the light is a storm. We don't have control over a storm. They're just clouds, right? But on the other side, it's a human being that is, willingly getting in there and leading the souls out of there. So I think that is speaking.
Maybe you're speaking to the choosing to find the light in the dark is that choice, but falling to the dark within the light is not a choice. Is that kind of perhaps what you're getting at? You know, because I think that
what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
What I'm getting at is that essentially human beings can transition between these two sides, at least in the painting, right? So if you wanna call it good and evil, anybody from the right could go to the left and become good, or bring about evil into the left, right? Or anyone from the left. I'm not trying to be political here, but from the left of the painting, it can go into the.
Disclaimer. This entire podcast and all further episodes. Nope. Neither of us do politics. Neither of us understand politics. Right. I'm in.
No. Right and left on the painting of the painting.
Right and left of the painting. When we say right and left, it's always paintings. It's never more than that.
Yes, it's always paintings. So if you see the left of the painting, the bright side, anyone from there could also go into the other side of it and bring about the good or the holiness or whatever you want to call it, or in fact join that crowd as well and start bringing more chaos or more evil.
It's also and I like that you brought it. It's that transition, it's that flow between the two.
Yet the only sign of spillover that I'm seeing here that is human made out of those two comparisons that I just made is from the light into the dark, being Saint Peter or whatever that is, whoever that is, right?
I think
is the only spilling from the dark into the light is the storm, which is not human controlled. You know what I mean? Like it's not our choice; it's nobody's choice.
I don't
Do
know
you see
about
what I mean?
choice. I kind of get what you get at in terms of that choice thing, but it's also I'm looking at it as not so much a kind of a story of morality, but also, I mean, anything Judeo-Christian is some sort of something about morality. But I like to look at the symbolism of that, right? Like the moon is right here. You know, the moon traditionally is that yin, right? In all cultures, the moon is that force of darkness, and it's on the side of light here, right? And it watches over kind of all the other things. And over here, this is like an army marching forward, and there aren't any repeated characters. And even though it's kind of like a mystical, it all seems like it's happening simultaneously and at the same present kind of moment, like the warring people trying to steal. Like this has some sort of like you could take this right side as a snapshot of like a cycle that's always happening. Whereas on the left side, it's a linear story, right? Like this is Jesus and this is also Jesus, right? Over here, there's no repeats, right? It's just a scene. But over here, there's this sort of like, okay, so this is the story, like how Jesus was led out from this kind of town, and how he was, how the cross, which is over here, is already here. This is temporally inconsistent on the left side in terms of this linear storytelling, whereas on the right side it's kind of like a scene, it's like a moment, like all the other pictures, right? And it might speak to kind of how order and chaos, even, right? How yang, the light, is order, right? It's an ordered flow of how things led from the castle all the way up to Jesus being on the cross, and chaos is always present. And it always makes no sense, and it always makes sense because you can always take it as chaos, the way it is, right? And so like, I find the right side of the picture actually easier to understand than the left side of the picture.
Okay.
Right?
What makes it easier to understand for you?
Because it looks, like, okay, there are people who are warmongering. Of course, they're on the side of the devil. They have the thing, like obviously the thieves, right at the base of Jesus, like gambling, right? Like one of them ready to pull out his sword, ready to get to violence, right? That's so obviously evil, right? But on the left side, it's just people caught up in the story. No one's really doing anything. Everyone's kind of just caught up in the story. Right, they're all looking towards Jesus. They're all looking towards Jesus. Whereas other people on the right side, they're kind of caught up. Like one guy's gossiping with somebody else doing this. Whereas everyone on the left side, everyone's talking about Jesus. Everyone's talking about that order, that flow. So even then, I can see how it could be. Again, to that theme of like, man, the people in the Middle Ages really had a lot of time to put into these paintings, man, because you can dig and dig.
They really did, man. They really did.
They really did.
Oof, they had a lot of time in their hands, bro. That's for sure.
What? They had a lot of time on their hands. We do.
I want to add to that interpretation you gave, because I think it's really interesting, the whole order and chaos part, which actually kind of like aligns to looking at this as like a Western version of yin and yang.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the beauty of the yin and yang is that it doesn't give you any characters to associate with the order and the chaos part of it. So the goodness, the bad,
it's
whatever,
just energy.
right? But two sections of it.
Yeah, it's just energy.
It's just energy. Whereas here, there's clear faces and some sort of indications that there's a specific players in each side. And now that I think about it, if this was made in the 1400s, then maybe the Crusades were not that far away.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the main guy, that horse on the right, he has an Arab, some sort of Arab, dressing.
And he's of darker skin.
He has the turban.
Yeah, he's
darker
clearly,
skin.
Yeah.
So maybe what this is, if you think about it, is the weaponization of the concept of order and chaos to basically use it as propaganda.
Push the narrative. To push the narrative.
Push the narrative of the Crusades. Could be. Push the narratives of the Crusades. You know, oh yeah, the ones that have the Holy Land right now are all in the dark side of things. They're evil, right? They have our land, and we are the good ones. Our narrative is the good one.
And they're housing the devil.
Exactly. They're housing the devil. Exactly.
They're housing the devil, and we gotta get him out. Gotta get her done.
It's a weaponization, if you think. Yeah. It's fully like propaganda, if you think about it.
Dude, this you know, the Renaissance, you know, this whole thing. It's real deep. It really is real deep. Oh, jeez. Oh, there's another one here. It says Christ. So a little note below. Christ descends to limbo to rescue Adam and Eve. That's what they talk about somewhere. I don't. It says below. It says at the top right. The monster devours what the other souls boil to death in the fiery cauldron. Christ descends.
Where is he descending?
I don't know. That's the thing. I'm wondering.
Where's that specific?
Is it there?
Scene.
Because I don't see it.
Or is Christ the guy in white? Might be there. It's not Saint Peter, but it's Christ.
You know, yeah. That you know.
Maybe that's him actually. Yeah.
Well, let's zoom in one more time. Let's get that.
It didn't look like him before, you know. It didn't.
Okay.
Like, it didn't have the long flowy hair type of thing. You know?
Jesus got that. I mean, Jesus looked like that, and then. Well, it kind of looks a little. The haircut's a little different. The haircut is a little different. That's what threw me off. There is a male and there's a female. You can clearly tell that.
Yeah.
But.
Yeah. That's Adam and Eve. You could say that's Adam and Eve. Think about it.
I suppose it was a little freaky demon boy out here.
Where?
See it right here?
Oh.
It's a little freaky demon
that's.
Yeah. It's holding on to the stick.
Holy cow, dude! That is. Oh my god! I didn't notice that.
There's so much detail in this.
So much detail. It's remarkable how much detail went into these things.
Yeah. Oh, is that Judas? Wow. I don't remember. Is this asshole Judas?
Might be. I don't know.
Probably right. It has to be. You know what?
Wait, who are you talking about?
This guy over here.
No. That's oh my god! I think it was Saint Thomas. It was one of the apostles.
Thomas, one of the apostles.
Paul is. No. Paul came later. I think it was Thomas. He was. He was the crucifixion with Mary.
Dude.
Yeah, well, dude. Yeah, it's a lot of detail, man.
I think we kind of mined the crap out of this one. Awesome. Let's
Good. Yeah.
You want to call it there?
Let's call it a day. The religious ones always have a lot of stuff in it, right? They always have a lot of stuff.
They always do. Okay, so okay, so I'm gonna stop the recording now. Is there anything that?
Okay, thanks everybody for watching. If you.
How do we? I don't go. You do it. You must know. You must know what to say.
Well, if you stayed for this long, thank you very much. We appreciate it. Next time we'll probably have some coffee or something over here, so you can, join along with us. Feel free to leave a like, subscribe,
comment below.
Tell us comment below. Comment your interpretations of the paintings. Exactly. Send suggestions, and
send suggestions for which paintings that we should look at and just bullshit over. And hopefully we'll have more structure and actual a title for this thing, because this has been so fun. It is it's so fun just looking at all this old kind of like somebody put their heart and soul into putting ink or paint to a canvas, and it survived 600, 700 years to make it to our eyeballs. The photons that made it to our eyeballs, just so we can talk about nonsense stuff. It's a divine privilege. It's awesome. Thank you so much to everyone, and thank you so much to you, Caesar. Thank you. Thank you,
Carl.
All right.
Thank you. All right. Bye.
Call it here. Bye.
Call it.